Hi Saleka, hello, how are you?
Hi, you look beautiful.
You too! I love the red.
Thank you so much.
It matches perfectly with the trap behind you, so I love it.
That was a little bit of the goal.
I was just talking to Saleka right now, and we were both agreeing on the fact that Indian fathers can be pretty, scary when they are angry.
Would you actually recognize a sociopath if you spoke to them long enough?
I feel like I would be able to detect, but I could be wrong. I'm not a doctor. I don't know.
What is the scariest thing about Cooper?
That he kills people for fun.
Hi everybody, my name is Sakshma Srivastav and I hope that all of you are happy and healthy. Today on the show we have actor Josh Hartnett. We have singer-songwriter Saleka and Academy Award nominee director M. Night Shyamalan for the upcoming bone marrow-chilling thriller Trap. Let's get right into it. First up, Josh. Hi Josh.
Nice to see you. Hi, how are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Now, I know I'm very, very late, but I have to say congratulations on Oppenheimer.
Oh,
I'm very, very late on that. My pleasure. Now, coming to Trap, I heard you say in one of your interviews that you read the book Psychopath along with director M. Night to understand the psyche. Is there something in particular that you picked up from that book which you then incorporated in your performance?
Well, the psychopath test is one that I talked about a couple of times, and that was really, it was instrumental in kind of helping me understand how prevalent psychopaths are in our society, which helped in turn sort of make me look at people that we see on our screens, people in our politics, people in my business even, as possible psychopaths. And so it made it much more sort of realistic for me to take on a role like this. Helped me sort of start to understand and relate to the character a bit. But then, of course, I read a lot of books about people with, people who are serial killers as well. And that's it's a very dark research, but it was instrumental in me figuring out how to play this character.
Would you actually recognize a sociopath if you spoke to them long enough or observed them?
I don't know. Like, I feel like I would be able to detect, but I probably would be fooled. I don't know. Genuinely, like, it's hard to imagine because one of the main attributes of someone like this is that they're very, very good at pretending. Like, they're so narcissistic that they focus entirely on themselves and their performance. And so it's kind of, it would be difficult to sniff it out. But at the same time, I feel like I have met people who are psychopaths, and I feel like I knew that they were, but I could be wrong. I'm not a doctor. I don't know.
Of course. Now, one thing about them is they are also scary. What is the scariest thing about Cooper for you?
Well, the fact that he kills people for fun, like to get a feeling of something. That's horrible. That's terrifying. But also, I think what's most interesting about this script is that the character he's a monster, but he's created this version of himself for the world to see that could be just your next door neighbor. And so there are things within the script that I found really enlightening as far as that goes. There's one of the characters says that there's this small thing that he does, this little detail of his interaction with people that tipped her off as to who he was. And I thought, like, God, I've had that experience with my wife. Like, she's like, you know what I mean? Like, it's,
oh my God.
No, you know what I mean? Like, I've recognized an ability in people to do things that I wouldn't necessarily see as an easy thing to do, but they can do it with ease. And I think that's what's nice about this script is it says to all of us, like, look at the person next to you. They could be a psychopath. Look at the person to the other side.
That is scary. That is scary.
There could be killers everywhere.
Yes, that smile that you give, it is so creepy. I mean, it's just a smile, but it's so creepy. How much did you practice that? Like, did you look at yourself in the mirror before the take? And how did you find that for yourself?
I didn't at all look at myself in the mirror because I don't know how to, I don't feel like it comes across authentically if you're trying to pull faces as an actor. Like, I think you have to imagine what the character is thinking underneath, and then what the reaction to the situation is. And then, of course, there are physical things about the character that you have to embody. And all of those things kind of come together in a moment when you're on screen, and hopefully it's unplanned. Because that, if you plan something like that, it won't, again, come across very authentic. So my approach to filmmaking and to acting is to do all the preparation and then show up and try to try to just forget it all and live within the moment and react to the actors that you're with and the situation. And that, so it comes naturally in that moment. And I don't know how to recreate it, honestly.
That's really cool. So that's your method, more spontaneous. I love that. And you were brilliant in the movie. I have to say that. So convincing, so scary, but at the same time, what you are with Cooper's daughter is just so warm. So the balance is insane. So I have to say, very well done. And I wish you all the very best for the film.
Thank you very much. It's nice to talk to you.
Thank you.
Hi, Saleka. Hello. How are you?
Hi, you look beautiful.
You too. I love the red.
Thank you so much.
It matches perfectly with the trap behind you. So I love it.
That was a little bit of the goal.
Yes. Now, talking about Lady Raven, your character, I wanted to ask you, is she very similar or different from you? And if she's not you, is she based on a real musician?
Yeah, I mean, there's some similarities there, especially the music, because I wrote all the music. And so, the stage performance and the music aspect of it is very much me and my tastes and my writing style. But sort of the persona of her, in terms of how she walks out on stage and the her scenes and her character is different from me in a lot of ways. So it was kind of a challenge to embody, someone who has been doing a stadium tour, who's got this incredible connection with her fans, is very confident and bold and kind of this boss of a huge tour and doing all these things. So I think, we did take a lot of inspiration from big artists and especially powerful women. I would say Rosalia, Billie Eilish, Taylor Swift, Rihanna. Those were kind of, artists that I watched a lot of their performance videos and interviews with them just to kind of channel their confidence and their strong woman energy.
That's perfect. Those are some of my favorite musicians as well. So I love your choice. Now, I know you worked on an entire album for this and written the songs yourself. Kudos to that. Do you have a favorite song? And if yes, could I request you to sing a few lines for us?
Oh, I don't really want to sing some lines. I mean, it's
That's
hard
okay.
to choose a favorite song. They're all very, connected to me, I would say, and special. There's a couple ballads in the movie that for me are very emotional, and they were the hardest ones to write in a way because they had to be very specific, but they were also the most rewarding, and I feel like I still feel very connected and emotional when I sing them.
Okay. Now, your fathers directed the movie. One thing about Indian dads is they are scary when they are angry. Otherwise, they're the sweetest people ever. What was it like working with him?
I was very lucky that he didn't get angry on set. So I was spared. But you're right. It's true. Indian dads have this mode that they go to where they're like powerful and they're like, you've done wrong. So I was nervous about, I didn't want to activate that. But luckily we had such a joyous time on set and it flowed so smoothly. We were like joking and giggling and laughing all day long. And because of, I think, us being family, Josh became family, and it felt like this beautiful kind of, all the crew we were all very close, and it was very fun.
Amazing. Now, I've seen that musicians are really involved in the set designs for their tours. They are the ones who drive that. And actors don't really participate in the set designing, not often. Where were you here? Because you're kind of in the middle here.
Yeah, it was a tricky balance. I think I was somewhere in the middle. I mean, I was on all of the calls about costumes and set design and all of those things. But at the same time, I didn't want to overstep because I know that there are certain things that they're curating for the cinematography and for the vision of the film. And so those things I know nothing about. So it was more, so I was just trying to say whether things felt right with the music. And I think costumes are very important to me, and what felt right for me, what felt comfortable on stage, what embodied the music. And I think, so I did have probably, a bit more of a role in sort of at least saying I felt okay with things and kind of giving notes and stuff on set design and costumes. But outside of that, it was my dad's world.
Amazing. I love that. Now, music is a huge part of Bollywood movies as well. I'm sure you're aware of it, which is a similarity with trap. You being a musician, is there a musician, Indian musician, you want to collaborate with in the future?
Oh man, I mean, I would say, I'm a huge Norah Jones fan. I mean, I would say that would be a cool dream of mine. I would love to do, Ravi Shankar is like a legend. My grandma and I always talk about that would be like a dream to do like a collaboration concert. I've seen him he does sometimes like these Americanized kind of combination shows where he incorporates Indian and American music and brings like American musicians on. And I've watched some of those concerts. I watched them with my grandma on YouTube, and I mean that would be super cool, and kind of like bring in orchestra and Indian instruments. So I would love to do something like that one day, even like a live show. But that's like that's a very far off dream.
But you never know, you might come to India and have a concert. And I'm sure that India will sort of support their Desi girl if you ever come here. So you have to come here for a concert.
I would love to so much. I mean, I'm incredibly inspired by Indian music. And, like you said, Bollywood was a huge inspiration for us, and thinking about, it's part of our culture and wanting to do it in our own way. We don't know how to make Bollywood movies, but we know how to make Shyamalan movies. And can we do it inspired by the kind of Bollywood ethos of the importance of music? And so, it's so, I think like growing up watching Bollywood movies I absorbed a lot of it, and it's part of who I am.
Perfect. Now, thank you so much for your time. I loved you in Trap. I think you have amazing camera presence. You are a born performer. You really seem to enjoy yourself. That is the one thing that I saw. You were so happy on screen. So all the best for the film and for the many more concerts and albums to come.
Thank you so much.
Hi, hello, namaste.
Hi, how are you? Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. How are you?
I'm good. It's been, we're in the middle of a kind of worldwide promotional junket, and, exhausting but beautiful.
I really never thought I'd get to speak to the director of The Sixth Sense. So for me, this is a huge fan moment. I'm a huge fan of your work. I'm sure you're used to that, but I think you'll have to deal with that for now.
Oh, thank you so much. Very sweet of you.
I was just talking to Saleka right now, and we were both agreeing on the fact that Indian fathers can be pretty, scary when they are angry. But she said, I'm very relieved that my father was not angry with me, and we had a great time shooting. I want to ask you, how is it like working with her? Are you in general a calm director, or was she just very easy to direct?
I'd like to believe I'm, generally very, calm on set, and, try to create a very supportive but strict atmosphere. So you're not going to get kind of highs and lows, but a very disciplined, enthusiastic discipline through the piece. Okay, we're going to do this and this. I'm very organized, and I think for Saleka that she thrives with that, rather than kind of randomness. Things, oh, now we're shooting this, or now we're doing that, or I changed, I need that song. That didn't happen at all on the film. It's very structured, and she thrived in that. And honestly, it was kind of an extraordinary ask of her, the thing I was asking her to do, and we had an amazing time together making it. It was we were doing an interview recently, and I was like, was there even a moment that we had a problem? I don't even think there was a moment. It was lovely.
That's so good. It's so important to have fun when you're working, so I'm glad you had that with her. Now, the story is largely about a serial killer. As part of your prep, did you actually go to the prison to talk to serial killers? Because that would be so crazy.
Well, I've read a lot of the literature on how their minds work. I mean, it's hard because they're each very different, and to some extent, the understanding of them is limited. And we can only guess at how their their pretending works. But we do know characteristics of them that, as things become pressurized and all, they kind of become alive a little bit. They like it. They kind of brings them alive because they feel so little that these intense moments make them actually feel, and they like it. So it becomes like when they're trapped, they're not as much scared as excited.
That is so interesting. I was just talking to Josh, and he kind of spoke about what you just said. And in the end, I asked him, can you recognize a sociopath now if you meet one, and if you have time enough to observe him or her? And he said he could. What do you think? Do you think you could do the same?
I don't think you can. I think they code switch so beautifully. They don't have the burdens that we have, that I'm speaking to you right now, and I'm bringing to this conversation with you my emotions from today and yesterday and relationships and things. I'm bringing all of that, and it's coloring our interaction right now. And you probably could sense something about me, or what happened, or who I talked to, or what. You get it colors. That's not the case with them. So if I was one of them, I could sit here and become something for you completely. Like I could read for you what you wanted me to be, and be that so believably, so entirely that it would be completely convincing. Because there's nothing in me at conflict. What sends our warning signal off is when we're being in conflict with if I'm lying to you and I'm feeling in conflict, you'll feel it, but they don't have that conflict. So it brings you peace to be around them. So strange.
That's very strange. Cooper is a father, and it's a father-daughter relationship, and it's that part of him is really, really nice. Taking away the sociopathic traits of that character, you are a father. Is there any inspiration from the relationship that you have with your daughter that you put in that character? Because my father, when he watches movies where something happens to the daughter, he starts crying. I was wondering, when directors direct, is there a part of them that goes in the character?
Oh, for sure. I mean, these are all some, colors of my life. And, I think his relationship, his adoration of his daughter, and his ironically, empathizing with her joy at moments in this movie, and that becoming his kryptonite. Josh and I spoke a lot about that his daughter is his kryptonite. He can do anything because he is unaffected, so he can see the answers everywhere. And there's always answers. In his mind, there's always answers. But when his daughter is there, it kind of narrows, and there's something to lose, which is really interesting, and he doesn't like that feeling. So it's this irony that he's feeling something for her. So it's a beautiful idea that, our daughters are our kryptonite a little bit.
Amazing. I love the way you put so much thought into it. All the very, very best for the movie. You've given it your blood, sweat, and tears, and I really wish you and the entire cast and crew the very best for it.
It's very sweet of you. It was very nice talking to you.
Same here. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.